Hello. So we have already heard today about some high-level ways that SPSS can help you treat each customer uniquely throughout each stage of the customer intimacy lifecycle. Some of this may sound like science fiction to many of you. In fact, there have been many movies that showed how this type of interaction may work in the future. Take this clip from the movie Minority Report, for example.
Hello, Mr. Yakamoto. Welcome back to the Gap. How those assorted tank tops work out for you?
So our customer Tom walks into a retail store. He has his iris scanned and then is presented with a customized greeting from a hologram sales representative based on his previous buying history. While holograms and iris scanning technologies may not be ready for prime time, the technology to instantly use a customer's historic transactions and demographics to create dynamic real-time offers is real now and is revolutionizing the experience customers have in stores. Let's look at a brief example of this. Here we have an iPad just like a sales specialist in a retail store could carry. What it allows me to do is to understand what customers are in the store, enter observable information on them, and then present them with suggestions and offers on the fly to help drive additional sales at the point in the customer's decision process when it can still make a difference. When a customer walks into a store, the RFID chip in their store credit card or frequent guest card notifies our salesperson that they have arrived. I can scroll through the different customers currently in the store, viewing some basic information about them, as well as viewing their picture. For existing customers such as Perry, I have valuable information at my fingertips, such as his purchase history, as well as information on his sizes and some other items. If I am working with a brand new customer, I could enter some basic information on that customer by observing them or talking with them as well. In this case, our analysis has shown that our customers' buying patterns may change based on their current mood, who they are shopping with, and other information. So I can easily enter this information and utilize it as part of the offer process later. For example, an unhappy customer may be more likely to buy if given a buy one get one free offer than simply a $5 discount. As you can see, utilizing SPSS's real-time scoring solution, I am dynamically presented with suggestions specifically for our customer Perry. I can see that using historic market basket analysis and even incorporating these items that currently Perry is holding within our store or that he's looking at. Using that information, I can see he might be interested in any of these three items. I can show him these items on the iPad or even walk over to him and show them to him in the store. I can easily capture his opinions on these items, which on the fly adjust the recommendations for us. Even when presented items that they are more likely to purchase, some customers may need an extra push to help us close the sale. So rather than wait until the checkout line, when it may be too late, I can view the suggested game plan for this customer. This will suggest approaches based on what we know of Perry, customers like him, as well as giving us authorization to present a personal one-to-one offer to Perry specifically for his visit today. This offer may be meant to drive home the existing sale or even to entice Perry to buy more. After all, if he's going to get movie tickets for two for sales over $125, he might be more likely to buy a sweater and a hat today. Put yourself for a second in the shoes of the customer. This is the epitome of the personal shopper experience. I walk into a store and I'm recognized as if I shop there every day. They understand what I like, my sizes, and from time to time even give me a deal that is only for me. That is the type of store I want to go back to, and the type of store that I want to bring my friends to as well, if for no other reason, so that they can see how important I appear to be. So as we can see, this type of functionality isn't futuristic. It is here now. But it isn't the only way that SPSS works to increase an organization's customer intimacy and one-to-one capabilities. We heard earlier today about the customer intimacy lifecycle. At a high level, these different functional areas and applications fall into three categories: ways that we attract customers to our business, ways we can grow their footprint with us, and ways to help us retain these customers and ensure that they do not churn. Let's take a step back and look at a few other examples of how we can take a customer like Perry and give him an overall experience that he will remember. So first, we will focus on attract. Here we see our customer intimacy dashboard showing us summaries of some of the different ways predictive analytics have helped us attract customers. We can get a feel for our optimal store placements, as well as for the assortment planning for each of those individual stores. We can better understand who our top customers are through an RFM heat map. But our initial focus will be on our customer segmentation. Early on in the process of attracting customers, we may not have a lot of details on the individual unknown customers that we are looking to attract. Thus, SPSS-based segmentation can be used to best understand what types of customers we should target with specific offers. For example, looking at our 360-degree view of our focus customer Perry Barrel, we can see that he is a member of Cluster 1. Cluster 1 is our top-rung customers, which is made up of affluent middle-aged males, primarily between the ages of 31 and 45, with average incomes in the range of $60,000 to $90,000. These are the more obvious demographics of the customers that fall into this segment, but the power of segmentation is in uncovering the non-obvious characteristics of our customers. For example, it is possible that gender itself is not a good indicator of what segment a customer may fall into, but only when gender is combined with location, income, or other factors that it becomes meaningful. The power of segmentation isn't just in grouping customers, however. It is in using those groupings to either increase revenue or cut costs through processes such as targeted marketing. Here on the bottom right, we can see the historical purchasing patterns by cluster. It shows the probability for specific clusters to respond or decline to direct mail offers they were given. We can see that smartphone kids only respond 33% of the time to these types of offers. But Perry and other top-rung customers respond 77% of the time. If we as an organization are going to spend money on this type of campaign, we should focus it on folks like Perry so we can get the highest hit rates for the lowest costs. This type of characteristic-based clustering is only one way of segmenting our customers. Another standard way is through RFM analysis, as displayed in this heat map. RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value, and it allows us to quickly understand the value of different customers to us as an organization. Let's take a look at how easy it is to perform this analysis within SPSS. So here we have a data file of information on our customers opened within SPSS. This information could come from almost any source, such as a spreadsheet, a relational database, or a CRM system. It includes a number of data points on each customer: demographic information, information on customers' balances or spending with us, information on their segments, as well as their responses to promotions. Using the built-in techniques of SPSS, we can quickly choose to perform an RFM analysis based on this customer data. We simply need to choose the relevant data fields for recency, frequency, monetary value, and the customer identification record. From there, SPSS handles all of the hard work of the statistical analysis, binning, and the creation of summary charts, such as the heat map that we saw earlier in the dashboard. This heat map gives us insight into our best customers by looking at the 1 through 5 ratings. Customers with a 5 in recency across the top are the ones that have performed transactions with us the most recently. Customers with a 5 in frequency are the ones who frequent our business the most often, hence the two terms. And we can tell by the color scale which customers spend the most money with us. So what we can quickly see is the customers who spend the most money with us, frequent us the most often, they have not been here in quite a while. We see this because they already have a dark blue color, they're a 5 for frequency, but only are a 1 for recency. We also see that the customers with 5s in both recency and frequency are the ones that don't happen to spend a lot of money with us. If we can prove on either of these items, then we will be able to increase our profitability. But how do we attract these customers to come back and attract similar customers to come to our organization for the first time while minimizing our costs? Well, these RFM scores are now automatically added to our customer records, and we can now utilize them along with the segmentation data and historic response data to build a predictive model that will do exactly that. We are now viewing SPSS's predictive analytic workbench, known as Modeler. In this environment, we will be able to quickly use the data we have already prepared to build a predictive model. This predictive model can then be utilized across both historic and future records to make recommendations on which customers should be targeted for different offers. This is a win-win for both us as an organization and our prospects or customers. Customers will receive offers targeted to them rather than getting blasted with every potential offer. And we as an organization won't waste money or time sending out offers unlikely to be accepted. The first thing we will do is bring in the data we were using earlier to create RFM scores. Again, this data could come from almost any source. In this case, we will browse for that same flat file. A quick preview allows us to confirm that the data is what we expect, and we can then automatically read in the field types, as well as choose the records that should be excluded from our analysis, and the field that will be the target of our analysis. Here our goal will be to develop a predictive model to select which of the three offers is most appropriate for each individual person: a credit card offer, a personal loan offer, or a home equity loan offer. Like we saw earlier with the RFM analysis, the power of the SPSS solution is that you do not need to be a statistician to run analyses, as the power and intelligence is built into the solution itself. Here, rather than choosing one of the many modeling techniques available to us, we can go ahead and choose an auto-classification node. When we run this auto-classifier, SPSS will automatically run through a number of different algorithms and decide which ones are the most applicable to this specific data set. The result is a predictive model designated by the golden nugget here. This nugget is the conglomeration of 3 different algorithms. We can then decide which ones to use, deselecting any that have a lower accuracy value than we feel is acceptable. By drilling into one of these models, we can get a better understanding of the results. For example, we can investigate the predictive model built by the CNR tree algorithm. Here we can follow the logic of the tree-based model. Remember, the goal of this exercise is to decide which offer was best for each individual. Right off the bat, we can see that the first thing to look at is the customer segment. If a customer or prospect is in the mall rat, rust belt, or smartphone segments, then they should receive a credit card offer. If they are part of the starter households, or like Perry, a member of the top rung segment, then they should either get a home equity offer or a personal loan offer. Moving down the tree, we see that folks in the segments that have a low monetary value should receive a home equity loan offer. For folks with a higher value score, however, we need to next look at their investment account balance. What we can see here is if it is above $95,000, they should receive a personal loan. So you can see how using this tree creates a model that could be used with both existing as well as new customer records to help decide which type of offer should be given. This absolutely increases our ability to drive customer intimacy, since by giving customers offers they are more likely to accept, we can keep them thinking more positively about our organization. But what does this do for our bottom line? If we return to our model and add a gains chart to the model, we can see the lower margin potential of our offers. The red line we see here shows us what would happen without any predictive modeling. If we sent a credit card offer to 0 customers, we'd obviously get 0 responses back. And if we sent this offer to 100% of our customers and potential customers, we'd expect we'd get every possible response, but at a very high cost. What this model will allow us to do is focus only on about 60% of our customers and prospect base, but still receive every response we'd possibly expect. This right here is the power of predictive analytics. The fact that we don't miss out on any customers. And instead of sending out, for example, 10,000 offers, we would only need to send out about 6,000 to get the same results. That is the power and that is the value of SPSS predictive analytics. So we've started to move from attracting customers to growing them. But how do we deploy this analysis we just created in the predictive model to a production environment where it can really make a difference for driving additional revenue from our customers? Let's look at an example of utilizing the predictive model we just built in a real-life scenario. Going back to look at our customer Perry, he may want to log into his TPO banking account to check his balance or perform other activities. When doing so, not only is he going to see his personal information, but utilizing SPSS and the predictive model, he can be presented with a dynamic offer asking him if he would like to apply for a home equity loan. This offer is being driven by a combination of predictive models and business rules that one of our marketing analysts has set up within SPSS Decision Management. It is looking at not only what offer is best for Perry, but also the predicted response probability, as well as the overall profitability of the offer. Let's take a look at how this is set up. The power of this environment is that it is designed with the market analyst in mind, making it easy for them to log in and set up or change the offers as is necessary. Many times this is something that needs to be done on a regular basis based on other decisions being made within the organization. This high-level process shows us the steps, starting with the basic data, defining the business rules, prioritizing with predictive models, and then deploying it out to the application that we saw. First, we can set high-level business rules to focus on specific groups or exclude individuals based on certain criteria. Here we can see that we are excluding individuals from offers if they have a bad payment record or if they've already received an offer in the last 8 weeks. We could just as easily create a new rule focusing on a specific cluster of customers or on individuals with certain RFM scores that we want to target or exclude. Next, we need to define the business rules that will drive this offer process. The options here are almost unlimited as the interface is flexible enough to match up to the business logic employed by your organization. In this example, we are using a simple characteristic such as gender to decide what type of retention offer the individual could possibly receive. However, this could be much more complicated and even use a predictive model to drive this selection. In this example, most of the work we will do is on this Prioritize tab. Expanding out our cross-sell offers, we can see the equation that will be utilized to select offers for individuals. We do not want to make an offer to an individual if we feel that that offer will not be profitable. So we are multiplying the probability that we will receive a response, and thus revenue from that customer and that offer, by the anticipated revenue if there is a response, and then subtracting that expected amount from the cost of the offer. This will allow us to only make offers that are greater than our minimum profit threshold as set within the environment. Here, the probability to respond that we're using is actually driven from our predictive model. If you recall the model we built earlier, we can actually add a table to the model to view the data that is getting created and possibly sent out to our database. Not only at the end have we added a suggested offer field, but we've also offered a propensity to select that offer for each individual customer. As we scroll through these customers, we can see that some have a very high likelihood to select an offer, where others have a much lower probability that they will respond to that offer, even though it was the best one designated for them. So that field will help us drive our offers for this selection. Again, there are many options here, but let's take a look at how this change affects the offers that are then created. Back when we logged in as Perry, we can see that he received a home equity loan offer, and this was based on his expected profit of about $15 for that offer. If we go ahead and we change the minimum profit threshold for those home equity offers to $16, and then we save that within the system, automatically, when Perry logs back in, he will not receive a home equity loan offer because his minimum profit is lower than that maximum value. And we can see this by refreshing the screen and noticing that home equity offer is no longer visible to Perry. So we were able to drive the offers that our customer sees through a simple web-based interface that takes into account business rules as well as the predictive models that we have created. The result is the ability to dynamically grow our customers' footprint, giving them a more intimate experience while driving profit and lowering costs. The final piece of our customer intimacy story that we are going to look at today is how SPSS can help retain your customers. This is also a large subject, but we are going to focus on an example call center today where Perry calls in from time to time when he has issues or questions. Just like the banking example, this will highlight how SPSS predictive technologies can be deployed to production environments where it will make the biggest difference to our customers. When Perry calls in, the system uses his phone number or other identification to recognize him and display to our representatives some basic information. We can see his age, the products and services that he utilizes, as well as the fact that he only has 2 months remaining on his contract. Rather than allow each individual call center representative to make their own conclusion on what this information means, behind the scenes SPSS predictive models are using this data to display the customer's overall satisfaction, their price sensitivity, and their propensity or likelihood to churn. We can take note that Perry is showing yellow, orange, yellow in these areas. The representative or possibly the IVR system can then capture the reason why Perry is calling in today. It turns out that Perry has a service complaint, as he is unhappy with the speed of his service for the high cost that he is paying. When this is submitted, SPSS's text mining capabilities parse this information and display the key concepts and sentiments of his comments. In this case, these comments show a negative sentiment towards both performance as well as cost. Also, you hopefully noticed that submitting this information changed our predictive gauges. Perry is now orange, red, red, and thus is a much higher risk to either cancel his service or not renew when his 2 months are up. Our call center rep can then go into the Action tab to be given suggested offers based on predictive models and the likelihood that they will improve Perry's feelings towards us. In this case, we see that he has a 75% chance of accepting this new contract and device offer. What we are doing here is emphasizing and empowering our representatives to make decisions based on facts and statistical evidence of what works across our entire organization, instead of on instinct and their own experiences. Our representatives may talk to 100 customers a day, but those experiences don't match up to the tens of thousands of calls we receive as a company as a whole. Only predictive analytics can make sense of all this data and use it to drive behaviors in the field. Finally, once the offer has been accepted, we can use SPSS's data collection technology to allow Perry to respond to a survey. This survey could be handled over the telephone, via mail, or as we see here, over the web. This piece of the solution is extremely flexible and powerful, ensuring that you're able to collect the information you need from your customers. In addition to push-type surveys such as these, IBM also offers solutions to pull customer comments off of social media sites such as Twitter, Facebook, message boards, and blogs. All of this data can then be utilized by the other pieces of SPSS technology we saw today to attract new customers, grow them, and also to retain them. Through each of these processes, we can improve the intimacy of the customer's experience so it is closer to the one-to-one relationship they are beginning to expect. And we can do so while having an immediate impact on our organization's bottom line with a very fast return on investment. For more information, or to drill deeper into any of the areas we saw today, please contact your IBM SPSS sales representative. Thank you very much.